something that really can't get put into words. Remember as a kid growing up and watching the Premier 12, watching the WBC at home, you always had that inner want to be that guy.
I went to the Sydney Olympics, and so we went and watched the baseball there. That was really cool. I was 7 years old. After that, I guess I just came really attached to the idea of being able to go to the Olympics myself and play for Australia there. So it's always just been a long-term goal of mine to eventually get there.
I mean, before I realised what the major leagues were, I knew what Team Australia was. I watched them win gold at the Intercontinental Cup in '99. 2004, when we won silver in Athens, that's when I was like, I want to do that. I want to play on Team Australia. That's my goal. I want to go to the Olympics. And it's pretty much been the driving force while I still played today. Like, it's this Australian jersey that I've loved for so long.
Prior to 1997, if you signed a professional contract, you could not play for Australia. You could not play for your national team. So there was a lot of Australian players. I had two brothers that signed contracts when they were, in their teens, and a year or so later got released, and that pretty much wiped out their whole national team experience. And there was a lot of Australians in that boat. It was really, reflecting, it was really sad, that they couldn't play for Australia. And that rule changed in 1997 for myself. There was an event in 1995, Asian Championship team from Australia, Korea, Japan, and Taiwan, and they allowed professionals to play. And it was the first time I got to play. It was pretty neat. Well, at the time, it really didn't mean anything. I was in the middle of my major league career, and I didn't really have any thought of that affecting me at all. Wasn't really until late 98, early 99, where everything aligned. We had the Sydney Olympics in 2000. I was a free agent at the end of the 99 season, and just conversations went in different places, and it wasn't planned. It wasn't at the front of my mind at all. But once it sort of come that way and it kind of panned itself out, we also made the decision to play 2000 in Sydney. There was a lot of unknown. In 99, there was a pre-Olympic event similar to the World Cup, and we won a gold medal in that, and that was really exciting. So we thought we were going to do well in Sydney. We didn't. We kind of bombed out, and just a lot of learning took place. And really, the thing that's really been the foundation of where we are now as a nation has been all those learnings along the way, all the players involved, all the former coaches and managers and everyone involved. It was sort of unexplored territory, so to speak. So I have the luxury of being able to use hindsight. And now the players, as I said, they probably wouldn't even realise that period existed. They just grow up from the time they're young. There's an Australian program. They're a part of it from the time they're young, and they aspire to play under 12s, under 15s, under 18s, and go through that system and eventually one day reach the 23s and then make the men's senior team. And it's a totally different system now, and what we're seeing is really benefit of just a lot of people who did a lot of hard work that, names, unfortunately, people really don't think too much of now. But I think that's just the way it evolves.
The cut through that we're having in Japan for the ambassador to host us at the Australian Embassy is something that's really special. So to be able to walk into an incredible building in the Roppongi Hills, to be hosted by the Australian ambassador, and to be able to have Japanese ministers there from the government, to be able to have people from huge businesses who are looking to be connected with Australia, is a really great platform and a really good opportunity to spend time together, and the access to events like that are incredible. The cut through and interest of this team outside of Australia is something that is difficult to be able to put into words or to be able to provide context for in the Australian sporting landscape. sporting fans in Australia will tend to kind of latch onto great stories. They'll have their pet sports that they really love, so they might be huge AFL fans and right into it, but that doesn't mean they're not going to pick up on an NBL story, or they're not going to pick up on a Travis Bazana being drafted in the first round, or they're going to pick up on Team Australia playing there. So, but that's different than, kind of the fanaticism around one product and one team. And, when we come here, our team has a brand here and they're recognisable and our players are recognisable here. So it's difficult to kind of put that into context. It's a tad frustrating. We'd love to be able to have the kind of interest that we have in Australia that we do have in Japan here. But yeah, it's a work in progress, and we'll keep fighting through it. And the fans that we do have, the Australian baseball fans, they're right into it. They love it. And we're thankful for their support. Glenn Williams, former Team Australia player and current CEO of Baseball Australia. The opportunity for pros to be able to represent the country. I think I played on the first team that pros were allowed to do it. It was called the Konami Cup. Korea, Taiwan, Japan. We played at the Fukuoka Dome. I was 19 years old and had a chance to play with Craig Shipley, had a chance to play with Graham Lloyd, had a chance to play with David Nielsen. So all these guys that I grew up idolising. I grew up with a poster of David Nielsen and Graham Lloyd on my wall. And I grew up idolising Craig Shipley, and I'm 19 years old and I'm playing with these guys in the Fukuoka Dome. Was something that was like, hey, this is pretty cool and really special. Pioneers makes them sound very old, but the fact that Craig Shipley and Mark Marino, people probably missed this one, that Baseball New South Wales' CEO, they got on a plane and they went to Alabama to go to college. This is before social media, it's before cell phones, before all this other stuff. So you're literally getting on a plane and saying, I'll see you later. You might as well have been going to the moon, right? So you kind of out of touch. It was quite difficult to be able to stay in contact with your friends and family back at home. So the fact that those guys were pioneers and set a platform to do it in a really challenging environment, to be able to leave your family and friends, to be able to go in this really super competitive environment. You're an Australian guy, always a little bit different, and to be able to grind it out for those guys to not only get to the big leagues, but to be extremely successful in the big leagues was incredible. And, to look at those achievements of those guys, they set the platform for everybody else that came after them. So I grew up loving baseball, and it's all I wanted to do. And I remember telling my teachers and kids at school, I want to be a Major League Baseball player, right? And I guarantee the guys on the team would have done the same thing with the kids, and people would have laughed at them. But I was 15 years old and I was playing on a junior national team that was heading on the way to Mexico, and we're transiting through Los Angeles. And the team staff had gotten tickets to the game. It was my first ever big league game that I had a chance to be able to see. In the first inning, the shortstop for the Mets or the Padres got hit on the hand and had to come out of the game. And at the bottom of the inning, to be able to go out and play defense, they said, replacing the shortstop, whoever it was, number 18, Craig Shipley. So in the first big league game, the first big league game I got a chance to see. My hero run out there and play shortstop. And at that moment, I said, that could be me. And I could do that someday. I mean, we often see it, right? When, Trav was a perfect example, right? Of, this is a kid who grew up in Wahroonga, who played for Kringai Steelers, who played his, junior baseball at Ryde, who represented New South Wales, who represented Australia, who played at Oregon State, and then, becomes the first pick in the MLB draft. I remember him as a 10-year-old, coming out to Blacktown and loving it. But I also remember going to a baseball clinic at Kringai, and he was 3. It was like his brother's birthday party sort of thing out there. But he was 3, right? So this is a journey over the course of, 18 years where this kid's been involved in baseball. So he would have had a T-ball coach. He would have had EO for a ride team that might have gone away. He would have had, a parent that might have had to drive him to baseball because, his parents might have been busy one weekend. So there would have been so many people along that journey to be able to kind of help him, and that would have been so immensely proud when he was a number 1 pick in the MLB draft. And that story is replicated across the 27 other guys that are on this team here. They all had someone at their club that was doing that for them, and a parent and all that other stuff. So that's who they're playing for. And I don't think it's lost on them. And it's not about themselves. It's about the team and, everyone who's kind of helped get them there.